Well, this is it, I guess. Feels very different from the last time I left Galawain's tusks. I will say, it's nice to look out and see Solace still standing. Thanks for that. Right. It's better that an Adiran envoy do it.
Solace is still standing. And so are you. We're in this together.
Just so you know, Kai, it's starting to sound like you like me.
If you happen to need a reminder, do let us know. Brooding in silence can be quite the mood killer.
Not to spoil the moment with good news, but I doubt the rest of the island has been quiet while we've been looking for the garden. Things have only gotten more tense since Fior, and the Steel Garrote probably hasn't been doing us any favors on that front.
Especially when they're led by a woman who doesn't seem interested in staying dead. Not to mention, after we take care of the Envoy's little god problem, we'll still have an empire bearing down on us. Sweet of you to think the fighting will wait that long.
Can't say I'm too excited about just walking into the garden. I grew up learning I needed to protect that place, but it never felt like more than a children's tale to me.
I hear you. This island is weird enough when all we have to worry about are vengeful plans and soul-altering corruption.
Am I the only one who's looking forward to the garden? We're pioneers, stepping into the great unknown, a land of mystery.
We have to remember to love them in spite of their lack of proper enthusiasm, dearie.
Can you imagine? An untouched spiritual wilderness just waiting for us. I have a theory about the garden, or a warning, depending on how you want to look at it. Sapadal has been imprisoned a long time. The garden will be a reflection of their dreams, their nightmares, their madness.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw visions or hallucinations, and not even the fun kind. Anytime, darling.
Before we go any further, I have to ask you something. You told the Inquisitor that you intend to free Sapadal. Set them loose upon the world. Is that still the plan? Everyone deserves freedom.
I could make an exception for a god with the power to destroy us all in a tantrum.
Sapadal is responsible for the spiritual health of the living lands, and the island has suffered for it. No matter what the Inquisitor said, I don't believe there's a right or wrong choice to make here. Just the one you believe in. Just one. Remember, we're stepping into a realm that is both physical and spiritual in nature. If you can call it nature. There's no telling how long we'll be gone. For all we know, time could run backwards in the garden.
Not a chance. We're a crew now, so you're stuck with me until the end. Marius?
I told you I'd be with you till the end. I don't go back on my promises. What about you, Giada?
You're not going into the garden without me. I have to see this with my own eyes. Yatsli, if you feel like running back to Quilichi, now would be the time. No one would think less of you.
And tell Quilichi that I missed out on the most exciting part.
And you don't have to. We pull together, and that's plenty.
I plan on wandering the garden whether I'm traveling with you or not. I have to find out what the big deal is.
Agreed. I'm not waiting in camp while the rest of you have all the fun. Hope to see you out there, Marius.
Well, let's go then. We can't keep your god waiting.
This is it. The spiritual epicenter of the living lands. Where it all began, and where it all ends. For so long I have looked out on a horizon full of possibilities. Now that it's here, I'm too scared to breathe. Oh, why am I so anxious? I suppose you're right. I'm frightened, I'm excited. I'm a lot of things right now. Do you remember when Manto Pastor sent you after the heart of an Adragan? That was nothing compared to this. We are standing in the beating heart of the living lands. Just imagine what we can do with it. Animancers don't ask why. We ask how. My parents were going to build a better world for Animancers. That dream was their legacy to me. You and I have come farther than they did. To an impossible place where anything can happen. Anything. Of course you are. I don't know what's going to happen, but you've had my back since the beginning. I won't forget it. Well, that depends. I know a few spooky stories about the living lands. They may or may not have anything to do with the garden.
Okay, but if something goes bump in the night, I'm waking you up.
Let me think of a good one. There are so many, I can't decide. Which do you want to hear first? I know one about a ranger's dream, one about a haunted well, and one about a golden city. Many years ago, when Fior Messiverno was barely a dot on the map, an Animancer got lost in the wilderness. He came upon a pair of ancient trees, their trunks and branches intertwined. A strange light shone in the space between the trees, and beyond that light, a city of gold. So the Animancer returned with an axe to chop the trees apart and fit his body through the narrow gap. But with every blow of his axe, the towers of the golden city fell. The walls crumbled, the lights flickered out. By the time he made it through, there was nothing left. Only the bones of a once mighty civilization. As for the two trees, they were dead, hacked to splinters, leaving him no path back the way he came. The end of one story, and perhaps the beginning of another. It's very strange. I can't remember who told me that story, and no one claims to have heard it before. Who could rest at a time like this? Looks like a dead end. Oh, I stand corrected.
nice of someone to mark that spot for us.
That's it. The heart of the garden. Sapadal's cage. I've done it better.
Good fighting. Ready, aim.
I don't see a better way down. You first. I'll be right behind you.
I see the disciple has found his way into the cell.
No. Clarion Steel. We know this voice. Why is she here?
I would strike you down for that. Unfortunately, I can use you.
Out. Out. Her voice pierces our skin.
Look at this place. A quagmire of your parasite's worst instincts. Can you even begin to grasp the forces that you tamper with? Hell? It has forged the iron of its own restraints. Do you think you're special, with your god's thorn in your side? Do you believe you can hold dominion over chaos itself? When even the collective fury of the real gods could only confine the sniveling creature to this wasteland. You suspected. Then you must have understood why.
It is true. She twists the knife. The seas run red with memory.
In time, the gods felt the wretched powers seeping through this land. Its madness would consume us all if it was not contained. Chaos threatens us all. We will ensure order prevails. A pity that its followers could not be reasoned with. Of course I did. The poor godless, worshipping the very thing that subsumed him. We could not excise the rot and spare the roots that nourished it. You dare claim the domain of the gods is trivial? Mind your tongue. Your blasphemy strains my patience.
Why does our prison not protect us? Help us! Silence her!
Listen to its tantrum. It knows neither order nor sense. Adir is the only thing holding back the tide of entropy. I refuse to even dignify that with a response. But there is still time. You can succeed where Ludwig failed. Face your false god and end its reign of terror permanently. Very well. I cannot force a child to bend to my will. But I will not stand by and watch you undo my work. You should have thought more carefully before you broke your oath to the Empire. Let this be a lesson to you.
Never understood Wodika's appeal. Still don't.
That's it. From now on, I pray to no god. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Or am I going mad? What is the meaning of this? It can't be real. This is an illusion. A joke. Tell me we're both seeing the same thing. At least I'm not going mad. Why am I cursed to see this again? Why does the memory follow me wherever I go? Wanna know what I think? I think someone's laughing at me. Whoever is responsible, I'm tired of the bullshit. Step forward and answer for yourself, coward.
Godlike of Sapadal, long have we awaited you.
Finally, you've come home.
This is almost as bad as Ringram's creepy sculptures.
Oh my gods. They're alive? What do you think you're doing?
Giada Castel, welcome.
Wait, you know me? How do you know me?
For centuries, our whispers filled the silence. Then we heard your mother's call.
My mother? You heard her?
She reached out to us, using the tool you now carry.
But that would have been years ago. The first time she used the phantasmal focus. The only time she used it.
We heard, and Sapadal answered, saying in a great voice, "We are here. You have found us."
But when Sapadal speaks, the living lands trembles. The voice of a god can be a terrible thing. Indeed, Sapadal learned to whisper.
What exactly happened to my parents? Tell me, please. I need to know.
Sapadal wanted to be heard, and in so doing, twisted your family in body and soul, broke them into a more suitable shape.
Sapadal does not know the limits of their strength. Mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made? Do you have any idea what my life has been since your little mistake?
After the incident, your parents were like us, and we took pity, so we helped them move on, as they wanted.
In the end, they thought only of you, their pride, and their love.
That's it. That's really it. The answer I've been searching for all these years. Sapadal destroyed my family. I know they are. My mother and father would not have wanted this. A good Animancer embraces death. And they were the best.
We are companions, toys, diversions. Sapadal fashioned us out of dreams and memories.
I can't believe it never occurred to me. They're animats. Ancient vessels held together with duty and loyalty. Their design is unusual. Organic, much like the garden itself. Sapadal's work. All this time, your god has been making imaginary friends. Drawing pictures on the walls of their cell. It's almost too sad to imagine. I don't hold you responsible. I don't even know if I hold Sapadal responsible. Your god has the intelligence of a scatterbrained goat, but that isn't their fault. It's simply how they came into being. One final question, spirits. What is this? Why are you trying to ruin my life again? Is this your way of haunting me? What is it you want?
That's 4 questions.
We want to apologize on Sopadal's behalf, and for the part we played in your sorrow.
They want to apologize. I came to the garden for answers, not to offer forgiveness. Easier said than done. For once, I'm going to heed my own advice. Listen to what my heart tells me. If you seek forgiveness, look for it within. Don't ask me to give up any more than I already have.
We understand. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. And thank you, Godlike, for bringing her all this way. The time has come for you to find your patron, as you were meant to. Our purpose draws to a close. A long rest is assured. May the living lands receive you with open arms. Farewell.
Goodbye. We need to talk about this, but not here.
This feels like one of those times when getting answers doesn't mean getting closure.
All this time, I thought my parents died in a freak accident. An experiment gone awry. A mistake. And in a way, they did. But it wasn't their mistake. It was Sopadal's. That's what I keep asking myself. This whole experience has me considering my family's work in a different light. Look at what my mother accomplished. Armed with her research and her wits, she found a god. When you speak to a god, it's nothing. Barely a reflex. But for the rest of us, it's unimaginable. No animancer can live up to that. Certainly not me. I thought their legacy was a curse, and I could only break it by completing their work. I was wrong. I suppose I have been all this time. I just never realized it. One thing is certain. When it comes to animancy, I need to unlearn some of my old assumptions. I wanted to tame the spirit of the living lands. Now, there's so much about it I don't understand. And it's creepy, but wonderful. They probably won't even notice me. But stranger things have happened. I believe the power flowing out of the garden drove this island mad. That has to end. Through animancy, we could help the living lands recover. It would take a lifetime, maybe more. But that's a small price to pay. Then again, who am I to interfere with an ecosystem that I barely understand? On the other hand, half the fun of animancy is stirring the pot and getting into trouble. I think I know what I want, but there are too many variables to consider. What do you think? You're right. I know you're right. But it's easier said than done. I'm the daughter of proud animancers. Who am I to deprive the community of my wisdom and experience? An Adiran with no sense of civic duty? Now I've seen it all. Without animancy, without my ambition, I don't even know who I am. But maybe that's a good thing. Either way, I can't wait to find out. The Living Lands is nothing if not a place of self-discovery. You and I do not always see eye to eye. But just this once, thank you for hearing me out.
It's never too late to start fresh, my darling.
When you find Sapadal, I hope you tell him how much I love what they've done with this place. And you've got to enjoy it where you can find it. Besides, as divine prisons go, I can imagine much worse. Though, maybe don't mention that to Sapadal when you meet them. No one likes being told they don't have it that bad. And from what you've shared, Sapadal doesn't exactly seem even-keeled. I've heard that one before. Usually before a lot of tears, a lot of drinks, and a lot of, I should have known better. Still, you taught me that a person can grow beyond their flaws. Why wouldn't the same be true of a god? I hope you're right, because we are all in trouble if you're wrong. I don't envy you having to deal with the loose cannon of a god. But I envy even less the mess you're going to have if, I mean, when, we escape this place. While we're tracking down your god, things are heating up between your Adiran comrades and the locals. A lot of people aren't going to make that distinction. Especially when your Ambassador Heelguard hosted Ludwine in Paradise for as long as her assistance was convenient. You may have averted the attack on Fjord, but this is one situation where it's the thought that counts. And yeah, I know that's on the Steel Garrote, but it's not lost on anyone that your people despise animancy. Not when Heelguard banned the practice in Paradise. Oh, I wish I were finished. You helped Ludwine destroy Nakukubel. And while most people don't give a tarnished skate for godless ruins, they'll see that as a powerful demonstration of siege weaponry. One thing I've learned about war, strife and distance have a way of reducing nuance. All anyone else is going to see is a threat display, on the doorstep of the Living Land's best cannoneers, no less. And then there's Solace. You might have saved the keep, but no one's going to talk about the disaster that didn't happen. They're going to talk about why Mount Forja erupted after all this time. You'd be surprised where people can find blame when they're spun up. And it looks real bad when a Steel Garrote force just so happened to be there when it went down. Fairly or not, a lot of blame's gonna be laid at Adir's door. And if I had to guess, I don't think Hilgard's been helping matters while you've been out here. If and when we get out of here, we're walking into a powder keg. And you'll have to choose a side. That's the part I don't envy. I don't. And for what it's worth, I wouldn't blame you for choosing that. Finding kin and countryfolk is a hard thing to ask of anyone. It's part of why I came out here. I lost my stomach for Rauatai's campaign in the Deadfire, but I wasn't going to turn insurgent against my own people either. I don't mean to burden you. It's late, and you've still got a god to face. Just know that whatever you choose, I'll fight alongside you. Anytime. Good night, Envoy.
Envoy, what do you need? If I must. Envoy, what do you need? Let's make the only one we haven't talked to. But other than. Thanks for talking.
Anyway, hey, Giada. How are you holding up after seeing those, plant people?
Well, I've seen things not intended for mortal eyes, and uncovered the dark truth of my family's downfall. But here I am. And how are you?
A breath held. Trepidation. You are close, yet distant still. Bars were not enough. They writhe. They seek to silence us. Only essence sustains them now. Hatred seated in the heart. We wonder. We did not foresee this. An equal trade, we accept. Sky is green. The fish breathes air. We can no longer imagine. We would run, roll with the tide, sink our fingers into new earth. Whisper in the fields, lift the hills gently in our hands. Disturb the dirt, but spare the blooms. Shake the roots slowly. Vengeance denied. squandered. This cannot be. We spoke of flowers. We speak of freedom when the hand still clasps around our throat. Wake now. Find us.
Child's play. That's done.
Envoy, what do you need? Let's make sure they're not listening. The only one we haven't talked about is Yatsley. I don't know. Things have changed. She's not so bad. But other than... Until next time.
I'll take the first watch. Any excuse to look around. I don't know what I expected. Everything here feels wrong. As if we're standing in the eye of a storm. Can you feel it? Essences radiating from the very stones on which we walk. This is a place of power, forgotten by time. We are insignificant by comparison. Does that answer your question? Thank goodness. One word of advice. Trust nothing you see or hear. For all we know, this is happening in your head. Or better yet, in mine. And what is it now? Neither can I. I never used to believe in destiny. Life always felt meaningless, like groping through the dark. But in a good way. All of that was before the garden. What are the odds that you and I meet? And after a series of mishaps, I learned the truth about my family's past? Once in a lifetime, at best. I don't know if that was destiny at work, but it feels significant somehow. Whatever you choose to call it, a coincidence like this does not happen every day. Let's appreciate it for what it is. Moments like this are few and far between. Anyone in particular? I warn you, I'm not the best judge of first impressions. Of course, she's brilliant, open to anything, and sees the world as she wants it to be. Yatsley gave me my first glass of wine, and the courage to approach a special someone. We have a lot of catching up to do. Indeed, old friends. When they died, Yatsley protected me. Made sure I had one consistent person in my life. I think that's why she gave me that glass of wine. Why she encouraged me to live my life to the fullest. She was making sure I hit all the milestones I could have missed. No one to get jealous over. To call it a relationship would be an insult to the word. But it was fun while it lasted. Animancy is the study of life. Unfortunately, we get so busy that we forget to live. So a little roll in the hay is good for the soul. Yatsley taught me that. Well, not the part about rolling in the hay. That was my idea, and I don't recommend it. Now that she's traveling with us, maybe she can teach you a thing or two. I think that covers everyone. And if my good opinion changes, you'll be the first to hear about it. Thanks for talking.
So those green people in the garden, those weren't your parents?
No. They were Sapadal's dreams given life. Ancient sentinels bound by loyalty.
And they were plants because...
Because that's all Sapadal knew how to make. A smithy smiths, a baker bakes, a gardener gardens.
Right, I understand.
It's all right if you don't.
Good, because I really don't. Envoy, what do you need? Not before I've done some reading.
I've heard of strange colors in the sky, and weeks of twilight in the white that wins. Wonder if it's anything like this. I barely plan further than the next meal, and you're asking me? I don't know, Envoy. I just try to take each day and each battle as it comes. And you can see where that's gotten me. But I think it's possible to be too prepared. Exactly. Yeah. You know what all of us think by now. Ultimately, you're the one who has to decide what to do with Sapadal and where your loyalties lie. My advice? Get a good night's rest, and when the moment comes, follow your instincts. And I stand by it. Next time you need to find a bakery, I'm your man. You're the one who founded God's prison. I hear you, though. It's easier to give that advice than to take it. But look at it this way. Whatever you choose, you'll end the Dream Scourge, and you'll give the Living Lands a future. And I'd wager that's better than where we are now. Rest while you can. We're almost at the end of this.
Envoy, pinch me. I must be dreaming. I've long imagined what the garden could look like, but... even all the depictions I've seen in all the ruins, they didn't do it... And that's not even counting all the little surprises we've gotten. We learned the fate of the Akita from their killer herself. And you're on the way to meet your god. Years of being an unclaimed godlike. And now, it feels like a typhoon of information has hit us. I've yet to catch my breath. There are even floating sky islands. How are you staying so calm? You could be a bit more excited. I just want to focus on memorizing everything I can. The architecture is obviously in pristine condition, let alone... Just be sure to remember everything we see. I'll want to pick your brain later. This place is... It's more than I could have ever dreamed. I know we have to find your god and figure out what to do with them, but... Oh, I almost feel like I could stay... Oh, fair point. I suppose I'd have to make supply runs from time to time. Still, I just... Oh, it's breathtaking. And think how much I could learn here. Pockets of time in the lives of the Akita are here, and... Oh, but we've not even gotten to the end yet. We haven't seen everything. Let's get moving. I'm starting to suspect that every single leader in the Living Lands is incompetent. Truly, is there no vetting process? Hopefully those in Solace Keep will choose their leaders with more care in the future. But we should check on Marius. I'll make him some soothing perfume, but I think a few words from you would help too. Please, darling, you can't lie to me. Speak with him when you've the chance. I do not envy the Pargrunen in any case. Meeting that council gave me a new appreciation for Vidaro. There's always a way for things to get worse, dearie. I wouldn't be surprised. We're losing focus on the important things. Things like the garden. Oh, come on, Envoy, let's get going. How can I help, darling? I'm starting to suspect that every single leader in the Living Lands is incompetent. Truly, is there no vetting process? Hopefully those in Solace Keep will choose their leaders with more... But we should check on Marius. I'll make him some soothing perfume, but why would I be mad at you consigning a people to a lifetime imprisoned by their traditions and literal stone walls? Well, that doesn't sound like me at all. I do not envy the Pargrunen in any case. Meeting that council gave me a new appreciation for Vidaro. Well, perhaps if he wasn't so rude to Giada, I could find it in my heart to be kinder. Or if he was more competent, like his father. Either one. We're losing focus on the important things. Things like the garden. Oh, come on, Envoy, let's get going. How can I help, darling? Don't let the bedbugs bite, dearie.
Envoy, what do you need? You too.
Much as I want to look around, we need to find your god fast.
Listen, I don't know this place. You're pretty much on your own. Envoy, what do you need? Pleasant dreams.
Let's finish this. Speed up!
Everyone okay?